Hi traders and welcome back. Today we're going to look at the differences between futures and CFD prop firms. See which one's right for you. So if you're thinking about joining a prop firm, the big question is, should you trade futures or CFDs? Today we'll break down the differences between the two so you can pick the right path for your own trading style. Let's keep it simple, stick to the basics. Futures are standardized contracts regulated from a central exchange, for example, the CME in New York. You'll find futures are popular amongst US traders, such as Top Step and Apex, and more recently, Funded Next. CFDs, or contracts for difference, are broker-based products, not regulated by any central exchange like the CME in New York, which means each broker may have a slightly different price on the same asset. You're just trading the price movement of the asset on that particular broker. And although very similar between brokers, you will notice some differences every now and again. Very popular in CFD prop firms like FTMO and the Fivers, Funded Next, Alpha Capital. There's loads to choose from there. Both let you trade with the firm's capital, but how they work is slightly different, so let's have a look at that. Futures. Futures go through a regulated exchange and a clearinghouse. We're trading a highly regulated environment here, whereas CFDs depend on the individual broker and the prop firm they're partnered with. Some are very reputable, for example, FTMO and the Fivers, both been around for at least 9 years now, so you know you're okay with them. But there are also some that are less reputable, so just be a bit careful on the newer firms when it comes to CFDs. Always check the firm's track record, and maybe watch a few more of my videos to see which are the best for you. For the home trader, it comes down to peace of mind. If you want the safety of an exchange-backed product, maybe futures is your way. But if you're comfortable with broker-based models, then CFDs are perfectly fine, and there are plenty of good firms to choose from, as we just mentioned. When it comes to leverage and accessibility, there are a few differences again here. Futures often have smaller fees per trade, but with larger minimum sizes. You're trading contracts, micro or mini, whereas with CFDs, you can trade micro lots all the way down to 0.01. So this makes CFDs probably the easier choice to start with, as you can trade with tiny lot sizes, flexible leverage, and most prop firms offer beginner-friendly account tiers down to as low as 5k, whereas with futures, you probably have a 25k or 50k minimum account size. For home traders just starting out, CFDs can feel more approachable, while futures can seem a little bit more scary, a bit more in-depth until you get the confidence. So if you're a beginner trader, maybe stick with CFDs, learn the ropes for now, and then see if you want to venture into futures at a later date, in the future. When it comes to the rules and styles, there's a difference here again between futures and CFDs. Future prop firms often have strict daily loss rules and trailing drawdowns. You need a tighter risk management when it comes to most futures prop firms. Not all, they do vary, obviously. Also, with a lot of the futures, you can't hold overnight because obviously the market's closed in New York, like the CME, for example, at 4:30 New York time. CFD prop firms often offer much larger leverage and more assets to trade. You have forex, indices, and commodities. And depending on the prop firm you choose and the account you select, you can normally hold overnight and swing trade with CFDs. You need to check the rules with regards to news trading with all firms, but a lot of the CFD firms won't allow you to enter a trade 2 minutes before or 2 minutes after major news on that asset. So just have a think about your trading style and what suits you best. Maybe pick futures if you want to intraday trade things like the S&P or the NAS 100, whereas maybe pick CFDs if you're newer to trading and want to trade a wider selection, at lower risk with larger leverage and larger account sizes maybe. Neither is better or worse for each individual person. It comes down to, again, your personality and what you're looking to trade and learn and how you want to trade, all that sort of stuff, how experienced you are as well. Personally, I trade CFDs with a few different prop firms, namely FTMO, the Fivers, Funded Next, Alpha Capital, and a few more as well. I also trade futures as well and have accounts with Top Step and Apex Trading. But that doesn't mean you should trade CFDs and futures at the same time, nor does it necessarily mean that you should trade the same firms as me. I was just sharing who I am with my trading journey. The choice is ultimately yours. Decide if you like the look of futures or CFDs, and then go through the firms, pick a firm you like, do a bit of research on them, and get trading. and best of luck. So which route are you going to take, futures or CFDs? Let me know in the comments below, it'd be interesting to see. And remember to click like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.